This is the poem which has two stanzas. Each stanza has three lines. Uh, by the way, there are some themes in this poem, and they are freedom, power of the nature, etc. Finally, I would like to say that the bravery and courage of this bird. So this bird is considered as the king of the bird kingdom. And this bird have many powerful activities. So this bird uh, liking alone, and this bird is not stay with others. And the writer is telling the nature is has majesty and strength. So uh, anything has not equal to it. So eagle is as the same powerful. It is the symbol of the power in this poem. So as the conclusion, I would like to say eagle is the powerful bird which has free for greatness like powerful eagle. So we have when we saw this bird's powerful, we have to try for strive for greatness too. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Nirishi. Now I would like to speak about the poem Fear by Gabriel Mr. The poem Fear, which was written by the poetess Gabriel Mr. The poem Fear is an inner conflict between a mother and her fear on her growing child. She is showing too much concern on her child. I don't want them to turn. This line expresses the mentality of a mother about the society. She fears whether the society will have changed her daughter mentally and physically and separated from her. Here, the word them represents the forces in the society like media, teachers, um, instructions, and peace. The poetess indirectly has shown how they influence in the life of the people from child to adult. My little girl into a swallow. Here, the poetess shows deep maternal love on her daughter and how her daughter can be changed like swallow. The swallow refers to a bird which leaves its home. The mother thinks her daughter would one day leave her. He would fly far away into the sky and never fly again to my straw bed. And through the above lines, the anxiety and the love of the mother have been wonderfully shown with the innocent nature of the mother. Due to the influence of the society, her daughter, like a swallow, would have flown, leaving her alone and never come back her poor home. By the word strawbed, the status of the family is mentioned. It is a poor family which can have a simple lifestyle, but the mother is rich with love and affection of her daughter. This excellently expresses the nature of the mind of poor mother and anxiety of not being able to give uh, comforts her loving little daughter. Although the reasons for leaving her and home has not been mentioned by her, it may be the search of better and luxurious life. He adds the need of the warm relationship between mother and daughter in the phrase, I could not comb her hair. Her repetition of the statement of the last two lines that she does not want her girl to be swallowed shows the weight of the emphasis he keeps her idea. I don't want them to make my little girl a princess. The line continues to express the fear and anxiety of a mother. The mother here says she does not want the change her daughter into a princess. She fears whether the society would have changed her little daughter who lives with her enjoying freedom and simple lifestyle. The reasons why she doesn't like her daughter being changed are given through the remaining lines in this stanza. In the tiny golden slippers, how could she play on the meadow? It is the rhetorical question. She asks how her daughter can play on the meadow wearing a tiny golden slippers. Through this, the poetess has shown the happiness and peaceful life in simple lifestyle. At the same time, the mother is seen as one who doesn't like this luxurious life. By mentioning the phrase tiny golden slippers, the life which is controlled by the external force is shown. Really, no one can play wearing a golden slippers. So, mother doesn't like this, but she likes her daughter should be free and independent. She understands the glamorous social status and materials can harm their simple and stress-free lives, as well as the attraction to those can shatter the beloved relationship between a mother and a daughter. Mother wants her daughter to be simple. She wants her daughter have fun and play. And when night came, no longer would she sleep at my side. The above lines wonderfully expresses the affectionate and uh, sensible maternal love. She loves her little daughter sleeping beside her at night. If the society changes her daughter as a princess, not only her but also her little daughter will have been separated and lost the relationship between them. It seems to be here that mother can only give pure love and affection to her children without any expectations. He keeps her loving daughter as an apple of eye. I don't want them to make my little girl a princess. The above repetition emphasizes that the mother never likes the influence of the society on her daughter and never likes the luxurious life. She fears that she might lose their relationship in her daughter becomes too much ambitious in her life because of social pressure, and even less do I want them one day to make her queen. Um, and when the night came, I could not rock her. The desire of mothers to have her children under her warm feathers and love them in is shown the above line, because the mother is the poem likes to rock her baby daughter in the night. If there is one that can be so highly valued, uh, that is the love of a mother and their uh, love of a mother on their children. This line wonderfully says this. The last two lines of the poem is the repetition that emphasizes the mother's deep desire of her daughter not being separated from her in any ways. Um, Now we can see the themes of the poem. The maternal care. In this poem, how a mother expresses her maternal love on her daughter and the fear that is caused by the social society which can mislead her, uh, showing its illusionary images and make her believe that it is real. So he gets ready to struggle against the society and protest her within warm feathers. The human fear and of loneliness in the future which children grown up. It is the nature that there is a fear about the later life, whether um, we will have been left alone in the world without any help or support. Here also the mother fears about her later life if her daughter leaves her. The next theme is the refusal of accepting changes, the modern family attitude, conflict between conventional life and modern life, conservative way of rearing child, and awareness of the modern society of mother. These are the themes of this poem. According to the poem, the speaker is a mother. She has a strong hope in the traditional value of the motherhood. She hates to grow her daughter in accordance with the expectations and wishes of the modern society. So she fears about the society. Her fear is reasonable. It cannot be criticized, but it is her duty to teach her daughter about the modern society. Thank you. Now I would like to call Shaitien to speak about the poem Earthen Goblet.
Good day to you all. Today I'm going to talk about the poem The Earthen Goblet. The poem The Earthen Goblet was written by Atchuthan to its highlights the value of the living a natural life, and it also expresses the enjoying of the simplicity of life. So the poem is written in a conversational form that the poet asks his question from to the goblet and the goblet answers for it. So even though the poem it is in a conversational form, the poet indirectly implies the idea. So let's get in the poem. First of all, we gotta talk about the title. The title, the Earthen Goblet. So the the word earthen means made of baked or fired clay, and goblet means is a drinking glass with a food and a stem. So the goblet is an extended metaphor in the poem, which stands for the concept of the transformation. So as well as the poem has four stanzas, and let's get into the poem. So let's see how the poet talks about the implies his ideas towards the reader. So the first stanza, so the first line, "O silent goblet, read from head to heel." So here the writer has used the letter O. So it's an interjection, and it's express the sudden strong emotion of the narrator. And here we can see that the silent goblet. Here the goblet is silent. So the silent of the goblet shows the dissatisfaction because of the transformation that he doesn't want to live in the present form, but he has been captively transformed to this state. So it creates a dissatisfaction towards the goblet and the redness of the goblet. So here the goblet is in a redness color because so it creates a visual representation. So the color red creates a like pain, a danger, death. So the literally every color has a meaning. So like that, red has a meaning of pain, death, and blood, etc. So the redness of the goblet creates a visual representation of the pain during the transformation. That how the clay has been burned, made, and how the so it shows the struggles to be a present form, and the last word head to heel. So it shows the entire structure of the transformation of the goblet, that head to heel as a human being, the entire structure has been meted by from the head to the heel of the human, as well as that here the writer has personified the goblet as a human being because goblet doesn't have a head or heel. So, but here the writer has personified the goblet as a human being. Then the first stanza has another four lines. How did you feel when you were being trialed upon the potter's wheel before the potter gave you to the world? So here the four lines have set of the last four lines of the lines has been taken as a single sentence, as a complex sentence, and we can take it as a summary of the primary question of the poem, that the poet asked the goblet that how the feeling was the goblet faced during the changes. So that is a question, and we can easily say it like that. But the writer has extended the length of the lines, so he indicates the extended duration of the transformation. That usually when we use a complex long sentence, we usually take most time. So as well as the transformation also get some more time to make in the change. So and the writer has also used the tense of past progressive in the line when you were being trialed. So it indicates the extended duration of the time the goblet had to undergo to the physical transformation. And the writer also used the technique of alteration, that when we are 12. So here the writer has used the alteration, and it also creates and emphasize the suffering of this goblet. And moreoverly, so the potter has given the goblet to the world for a positive action. So according to the goblet, the potter is a danger and he's a bad guy. But according to the world, the potter has given a positive and a good thing to the world. So it indicates that sometimes natural to in artificial or uncivilized to civilized or nature to nature. So it serves a collective purpose than a personal benefit. And according to the first stanza, here the you and the potter are the primary characters of this poem. And the first stanza starts with the introductions and also it ends with an introduction. So when we see the second stanza, first line, I felt a conscious impulse in my clay. So that the first stanza was the question of the narrator. It means the question of the poet. So, but here the second stanza is going to be the answer of the goblet. So the voice of the previous narrator changes into the shift into the voice of the goblet. So we can take this thing as a technique. It's called as amobian. And then the writer has also used the diction impulse. So I felt a conscious impulse in my clay. So the impulse is a meaning of the it's it creates a sympathy towards the goblet. And the writer has also used the possessive pronoun my. So here the possessive nature of the nature has been shown that, and it talks also about his personal, the previous state of the being of the goblet. And in the next line, to break away. So it talks about the captivity that the goblet has been captured against its will and wishes. And the next line, from the great potter's hand that burned so warm. Here the poet has respect and give a power to the potter because the adjective great emphasize the respect of the goblet towards the potter who causes him harm. And we had to talk about the one more thing that in the modern era, pottery is not an easy work. So we had to use two hands to make a goblet or pot anything from the clay. So, but here, as the writer has used only a singular noun of the hand. So here it can be called as allusion. That by this singularization, the poet convey the power and the concept of the creation. And in the next line, I felt a vast. So felt is a repetition from the beginning of the second stanza. So is separate the necessity of the goblet to the emotional agony and feeling of sorrow to be cast. So from this line, we can easily catch that nature also can feel the pain, emotions, and it can also feel everything as a human being. So next, it also talks about the physical agony in the changes of the agony that in the first line, in the first half of the poem, we can see that the physical agony that the goblet has on the potter. But in the last line of the second stanza, it has been changed into the emotional agony of the goblet. That and the last word of the line, cast. So it's a complex term, and we have used this for the multiple figurative senses. And the last line of the second stanza, into my present form. So according to the goblet, the potter's transformation is a discrimination towards him. So here the writer used the diction present to make a contrast between the past and the present life of the goblet. So it also can be called as a technique nostalgia. And let's get in the third stanza. Before the fatal hour that saw me captive on potter's wheel and washed into the crimson goblet sleep. So this entire stanza also can be considered as a single complex sentence. So the fatal hour is a personified one, and here also the writer has used the word captive. So as well as in the beginning, we can say that the potter has been captured the clay against its wills and willingness. So it talks about the clash between then and the natural world. So in the second part of the third stanza, we can see that I used to feel the fragrant friendship of the little flower whose root was in my bosom buried deep. So here the writer has used the phrase "used to feel." So it is one word of the past tense. We can also see that. But here the goblet no longer feels what he has used to feel. So this is also talks about his past life, and we can also taken it as a nostalgia. And the writers also used the technique of alteration in the words feel, fragrant, friendship, and flower. So it shows the it, and we can say that it emphasizes the endearment of the goblet it has felt. And the writers also talks about the friendship, that the friendship is usually a friendship is an abstract sense, but here the fragrance is associated with the goblet, so it creates a systematic imagery. And also the writers also use the singularity of the flower. It's called as monogamic relationship, which later contrasts in the ability of the goblet to have many flowers begin being bonded with the root. But here the writers use the single root. He's singularized the root to attribute a metaphysical sense to the root. So let's get in the fourth sensor. The potter has drawn out of living breath of me. So not like in the rest of the part, here the goblet directly accuses the potter who has changed his changed his transformation. And the diction phrase living breath. So it reversed the original state of the goblet where it had a direct connection to the nature. And it also talks that it is being alive during the transformation. And the goblet used active voice to accuse the poet, not like the passive voice. And in the second line, and given me a form which is death for me. So accusing of the goblet connect and coordinate with the conjunction and the goblet compares the past natural life and its current form concluding the later of to be death. And my past unshapely natural state was best. So this is a contrast between the past and present life, and it shows the wistful affection of the goblet to the natural elements and also nature. So here the writer exaggerate in a penultimate list, and here the writer has also used the diction best. So it's a superlative form of the good, and it suggests that the nature is not it's not replaceable. And the last line of the poem, which just one flaming through my breast. So it's a conclusion of the story of the poem that in the end the goblet shows that a relationship with one flower is the best. So it suggests that the relationship is no longer monogamy. So here also the writer has used a technique of alteration, flow flaming. So it is very similar to the previous one associated with the relationship of the goblet. For example, fragrant, friendship, flower, feel, like that. So these are my analyzing of the poem, and we are talk about the theme that the goblet can be metaphorically compared to the rural place uh, and also the rural life. So for example, we can think that the person who lives in a rural life, who is connected with his every single cell with the rural life and rural lifestyle, who are ordered to undergo into the transformation or modernization into a city without any choice. He was brought to the city and made to adapt the modern life. Even though at the end he was made him as a gentleman in the city, his emotions and his thinkings and his memories and everything from his mindset will be always connected with the rural life. So with his sweetheart. So that's the main reason, that's the main theme of the story, that even though we are transformed into a new stage, we never forget the past, our friendship, our past love, or everything we will never forget it. So that's the message of the poet in this story, in this poem, sorry. So moreover, we can say that once a bowl of clay is changed into a shape of goblet, it can be converted into any new shape. But it is still a bowl of clay. It can be converted to many shapes. And these are two messages of the poet Hannah Chaturvedi. So thanks for hearing me.
It was a very wonderful explanation. Now I invite Veronica to speak about the poem The Eagle.
Good evening to you all. I am going to present about the poem The Eagle. It was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Tennyson is considered to be the greatest of the Victorian poets and is well known for the craftsmanship in poetry. He wrote many important poems. In these poems, the eagle is very interesting poem and a powerful poem that captures the majestic and strength of the majestic bird, inspiring the readers to reach for the heights of their own potential. Uh, uh, the bird eagle is a predatory bird and it has sharp eyesight. Now we look at this poem. This poem consists two stanzas. Each stanzas have three lines. In this first line, the Dixon he describes the eagle as a human. In literature, we call this technique personification. Personification is a literary device that refers to the projection of human characteristics onto inanimate objects in order to create imagery. The eagle calls tightly to the rock with his irons. Here we consider the word crooked by an adjective. Now we look at the second line. Second line shows the height of this bird. The eagle appears very close to the sun. Here the phrase lonely lands seems suggest the eagle's domination of the sky. Here the alliteration of L sounds shows the L sounds contributes the musical quality of that line. In the third line, the Dixon Azure describes the blue sky. So the bird circled with the blue sky, and here the passive action stands, which rhymes with stands and lands, creates an effect of stillness. In the fourth line, the rolling waves of the sea crawls beneath him. Here the word wrinkled sea shows the waves of the sea look like the wrinkles of the cloth. Here the Dixon crawls also reminds us about the reptiles who are eaten by eagle. In this fifth line, the eagle see everything from his mountain. It is very admired to see because the mountain wall is very height. We can't see anything from the top of the mountain, but the eagle can see everything from the top of the mountain. How is it possible? Because the eagle has sharp eyesight. Here it is very it appears very clearly. The eagle watch its prey from his mountain walls. In this poem, the last line brings the superb climax of this poem. The eagle falls into the sea like a thunderbolt. for catch its prey. Thunderbolt is a very speed symbol. Finally, I would like to say the poem shows the birds' bravery, courage, and freedom. There is no one to challenge the bird. Thank you for hearing me. Thanks.